Hello, everybody. This is Microsoft Future Ready Industry Week, and we're looking now at disruptive forces and new market makers in financial technology. If you look at the entire range of fintech, insurance, other areas, so many new technologies are coming in and making a dramatic change. So we're going to be discussing all of that with Mukesh Malik, the COO of Aditya Birla Capital. Thanks, Mukesh, for joining us a lot. Now, of course, you're CEO of Aditya Birla Capital. That's almost sort of a holding company. You've got insurance, mutual funds, I mean, a whole range of areas underneath you. Um, Major shift in culture, you think? Major shift in focus from what used to be the financial services industry and now really technology and data driving a lot of it?
Yeah, hi Vikram, and thank you for having me on the session today. The whole financial services and insurance sector in particular are transforming significantly. As you refer to data, if data is the new gold, then hyper personalization is holy grail of entire customer experience strategy of all our group companies. Data which used to be scarce earlier, and we would leverage only our own data from customers when they fill up the application form, or let's say some transactional data with us. Over time, the data space has really transformed, and now whether it's regulations or various ecosystem partnerships that we have, industry players are having, just like us, and also data available on social footprint from customers and various, intermediaries. We have pretty large data sets to work with. And it would be a waste if this is not leveraged for everyone's, win-win. So, and this also creates such large data sets that it requires a lot of analytical modeling capability in the company, as well as large, very high velocity data processing capabilities, which we find very convenient on the Microsoft Azure cloud platform that we use extensively. So at ABC, at Aditya Birla Capital, we are overlaying data that we have from traditional sources like application form, KYC, etc., and the data that we acquire from other non-traditional sources, like I said, social and ecosystem partnerships and so on. We overlay the two, and then we do modeling, and then we churn out pre-approved offers. We have very sharp campaigns to acquire customers, to keep our sales and distribution cost in control, be market leading in terms of anticipating customer needs and offering what the customer needs at that point of time, wherever the customer is actually. Let me share a couple of examples with you. In our life insurance business, we roll out pre-approved sum assured insurance plans to our customers, and I'm delighted to share with you that about 1/6, which is 17% of our entire business, comes from such offers in life insurance. So that data is being used pretty extensively. Just to share one more very important example with you, industry is also talking about omnichannel orchestration. We have taken a leap forward on that, and we use customer interactions across our service channels in such a way that customer gets to experience seamless, consistent, and a continuous journey between our physical and digital channels. To give an example, let's say if a customer try to make a payment for an insurance plan on our website, and for some reason, for whatever reason, customer could not complete the payment, and customer calls up our call center in 3 minutes from that time, our call center agent gets to see that customer tried to make some payment, failed. Now, most likely this call is about that payment only, and therefore we have one-click option to share all 3 options with the customers, anticipating the customer need and not asking to repeat the whole story again to us and so on. So we are pretty much connected internally on our channels, and we offer very seamless experience to customers from one place to another. So we don't have broken journeys like many other players grappling with right now.
So Mukesh, if I could just ask you now, look, there would be 3 or 4 different ways in which conglomerates like yours would be using data and would be using technology. One, which what you are talking about, personalized solutions, which are really making a difference, which are, personalized options that you're offering the customer. The second would be the overall user experience itself. Instead of having agents running around trying to tell customers to, buy stuff, you're actually giving them a mobile-led or a web-led, delivery. So that would be the second. And the third way I assume you would be using technology and is in your own backend, in your own, how you're managing your employees and how you're running the backend. So are all three important to you, or which would be most important?
I think they're all equally important. In fact, this entire work from home has pushed the organizations to bring in technologies which let employees work from home, have work-life balance. This was a necessity as well during lockdown, but it has become a way of life for several roles that we have internally. So we have given them VPN connection. We have enhanced our internet bandwidth so that they can conveniently have broadband access from home. We have VDI infrastructure where they can remotely access our very heavy applications also very seamlessly. We moved the entire call center platform of ours to cloud telephony. We were the first BFSI scale player to do that within 6 months of lockdown setting in, because that we saw as a break in journey otherwise, before that. So we have our entire outbound and inbound call centers on public cloud, enabling us to leverage voice technologies, which I will speak about later in the session, I hope, in a very different way. Besides that, we also have Microsoft Teams given to employees for collaboration. We have a co-browsing option where our contact center and telesales agents are able to work with the customers, and they're able to fill up forms online basis. So it's a guided assistance provided that speeds up the entire acquisition and service experience between the two.
So if I understood you correctly, then as a result of the pandemic, it's a very different sort of an experience to what we all remember, the mutual fund or the insurance industry being, where agents are coming to your house or your office and getting you to sign up a form. You seem to be talking about a far more digital, system where people are all connected on Teams and many of them are working from home and presumably reaching the customer also through digital and online means as opposed to physically landing up at their homes and offices.
Absolutely. The sales, during the pandemic, the sales productivity took a different turn. Initially, people thought that sales will come to a standstill, but you'll be surprised that we were acquiring customers faster than earlier during that period. And we, in fact, gained market share in some businesses. So the sales productivity has taken a new shape now, while some of that is actually now, reversing back. And it's going to be a challenge for us to ensure that customers and sales people both continue the earlier habit of doing remote engagement and use those technologies. So technology exists, but yeah, right now we are somewhere in between fully physical or fully digital.
When you are doing a lot of this digitally, and when it comes to, see, earlier there used to be certain KYC and other norms that are being done. When a lot of this is happening digitally, a lot of it is happening, online. I'm sure the concerns around things like fraud and cyber crime and all of that would become more, including customers. Sometimes, yesterday I got a message from somebody saying, your this account is going to be frozen. Click here and enter your PAN card and other things. Otherwise, your account will be frozen. Now, I figured out that was probably some sort of a phishing attack, but I scratched my head. So I'm sure this is something which you must be trying to communicate to all your customers. You need to be careful about fraud and cybercrime.
Yeah, so we are very active, and like the industry players, there's a lot of education happening from the regulators and from BFSI players. We educate our own employees, we educate our customers at large. You see so much of circulation of material on that front to coach customers that do not fall prey to these phishing campaigns and give out your credentials. But coming to fraud, fraud can be seen in a way at the time of acquiring customers also. Vikram, we have technologies in place like facial recognition. So we match photo on the PAN card or Aadhaar card with, with the video that we do with the customer in several products of ours. We call it pre-issuance verification call. We have micro-expression technology in place by which we check whether customer is actually giving the right answers or fabricating answers to position the insurance request better, and so on. So we have invested in these technologies like voice biometrics in our call center, where we identify customer with the voice and don't ask for identifiers. So there are several technologies now available which we can deploy, and we have taken a lot of lead on that front as well in the industry.
When you're looking at data for personalization of products, you were talking about how you can almost give a pre-offer of insurance to clients, and I'm sure that's actually very helpful because it's a simple, it's personalized, it's easy to access. Some clients, however, may be expressing some concern about privacy and does my insurance company know too much about me? And we sometimes hear these futuristic stories about an insurance company probably knowing you're going to fall ill before somebody else does. Are we heading? What sort of a world are we heading towards?
The government has spoken about electronic health record. So if you ask me, health record will become more and more accessible to insurance players, to industry players, and it can be used very effectively for guiding the customer to have better health and predict a few things going right or wrong. We sharpen our acquisition and servicing strategy, as well as customers gain from those programs. Coming to where customer is worried or not, so this framework will actually have a consent program built into it. So customer will be able to say that following information you can share with this kind of company for this long. You can actually say that please share my last medical report with XYZ companies for next 3 months only. So customer will have choice. It will be, I think, a very well-enabling platform for all the constituents.
And I guess the data helps in better actuarial plans, right? You have a much better way of predicting what the outcomes are going to be, which might drive down rates to some extent.
You're right. Just to give an example, in our life insurance business, we have actually invested in an AI ML led underwriting tool with a startup, with a fintech, by which we overlay data of our last 15 years of customers on board, their claims history, the death ratios and all geography elements to it, and various cuts are deployed, and we also take the bureau information from the market in such a way that overall we are able to underwrite customers in an automated way. And currently the match is 80% between this tool and our physical underwriting. And I see it improving to about 90% in the next about 18 months. So data is extremely important and it's very enabling. It reduces cost, it makes us more efficient, it reduces fraud or eliminates a lot of risk that we see today in the industry.
You were talking about working with fintechs. In fact, I was going to come to that. There used to be the other major changes that I think 5 years or 10 years or 15 years ago, large companies, especially like yours, Aditya Birla Capital, would have said, we're going to do everything ourselves, right? We'll try and manage everything ourselves, from data to technology to servers to everything. Is there much greater openness now to working with partners, whether it is partners in the IT infrastructure or the cloud, or working with other fintech companies? Is there a far more collaborative approach now?
A very long and wide question. If you ask me, it has many facets to it. Let me try to cover a few. Being open to working with the fintechs and startup space, there's no way out of it. If you ask me, these companies are coming out with very niche products. They give you a razor sharp edge in the market in the respective spaces. We must leverage them. We have a program called Biz Labs initiative. It's an Aditya Birla Group initiative under which we give out our problem statements that we want to solve for our customers, and then we invite a lot of startups to come out and share their solutions with us, and then we pick from them. So we keep doing it periodically. We currently work 55, 56 count of such companies giving us various machine learning, AI models, and so on the software side. So we have a whole host of such startups helping us, like I spoke about micro expression technology, facial ID, and several others. They're all from such niche players. Infrastructure side, we invested in cloud. This was a private cloud on-prem from Microsoft Azure about 7 years back. And about 2 years back, we were 87% applications on this. And I saw that saturating going forward, having achieved that milestone. So 2 years back, in fact, we froze the growth of that cloud on-prem. And we said we will be a public cloud first company now. And ever since, all new solutions are now coming up or have come up. on public cloud, and we are already about 22% of our all applications have moved, or new applications have been put up on public cloud. So we have made a huge progress on that, and we have a clear roadmap for the next 3 years to reach about 80-85% of applications on public cloud, which will be a huge enabler. Cloud offers you, online the scale up and scale down is very instant. You have various offerings from these, the cloud providers. They offer you standard level service, gold standard, and then ultra premium, etc. You can subscribe. That space is the future, and we took that call about 2 years back, and we are on course to be very open. We work with all global scale players in the IT world to help us manage what we do internally in terms of infra, in terms of network management, devices, end user management. It's a partnership. We co-create between ourselves and our such partners.
All right, okay, perhaps one last question from me. If you look at the disruptive forces in your industry, and what do you think the main disruptive forces are going to be over the next 2 or 3 years, which could perhaps lead to new customer experiences, new differentiated offerings? What do you think the main disruptive forces will be?
When I spoke about the omni-channel strategy, so today, all of us, when we land at the, let's say the landing page of any website of banks and almost all BFSI players, they look the same every time. And every time when we log in, our need may not be same, it may be different. And therefore we have to hunt around for those options. So that I think that's not really great customer experience. We need to anticipate customer needs. If a customer is coming to a website within 7 days prior to insurance renewal, most logically customers have come for that. Why don't you make that as the first option to see and straight away say that we click here to make the payment? There can be various needs which you can anticipate from the customer side and preempt. And can you have, this algo-based, screen navigation, seeing this is what you saw last week. You may want to see an update of your, let's say, stocks and securities you bought 1 week back. Logically, you may want to see the value of that today. Or the largest investment you have in a mutual fund, you may want to see the value of that first than others, and so on. So some of it can be personalized to customers. The entire customer experience is going towards that direction, I think, over the next couple of years. The next play is a voice technology. Like today, we type everything and search. When we go to Netflix, and TV remotes are so difficult to navigate on typing ABCD and so on. And if you have smart TV on digital media, you can speak out your requirement and it plays extremely well. So voice is one which will reshape the customer experience in the coming times. Let me share a few things that we have tried to do in this space very rapidly in the last 18 months or so. We already have 110 voice bots of different nature. They can be pure audio bots where you call out the customer and ask for money, let's say to collect money for a loan repayment. We have a plan to phase out this option, press option 1, press option 2, press option 3 kind of IVR solutions, which are 20 years old in the industry now. So we have now invested in natural language processing technology by which when the customer calls in, we identify customer intent in a few words and straight away open up an interface on customer phone and guide the customer through verbally and visually to help the customer fill the required information or get the required information or get the PDF forms into their WhatsApp and so on. So the entire voice piece in call center is looking very different. And voice bots give you 24/7, scalability, 24/7 it's available, while all call centers mostly shut out in the evening or over the weekend in BFSI. So we move away from that problem. And we have also integrated our call center calls to WhatsApp now. That's a unique offering from us. So if we don't have a ready-made voice bot to offer a solution to a particular intent of the customer, I will transfer you to WhatsApp, where we have 370 services already operational. So entire suite is becoming very connected. You can navigate from one channel to another very seamlessly, and customers can see our services 24/7 wherever they are.
Right. It sounds like an exciting world out there, and it's certainly a disruptive world where lots and lots of changes are going to come. Mukesh Malik, CEO, Aditya Birla Capital, thank you so much for joining us on Microsoft Future Ready.
Thank you so much, Vikram. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.